Hi friends of cocktails! Do you miss going to the movies? How about your favorite cocktail bar? I have a solution for you today. Today I'll show you a perfect combination to fill this void. We'll make a twist on the Boulevardier I call the cheesy movie night. We'll use popcorn infused bourbon with cheese perfume and caramel covered popcorn as garnish. Start the premiere! It's cocktail time! I decided to make a Campari-based cocktail because of the upcoming birthday of its founder, Gaspare Campari. He created this red bitter liqueur over 160 years ago, in 1860. Soon after he opened his bar next to the famous Duomo di Milano, the popularity of his aperitivo grew. But it was his son, Davide Campari, who turned the family business into an international brand with his marketing skills. Davide worked with many great artists to bring Campari from the back bar to the spotlight of pop culture. While the bottle still holds his name, it was Gaspare Campari who formulated the recipe, which is still a well-kept secret. It is said to contain more than 60 natural ingredients, including herbs, spices, barks, and fruit peels. Apart from the coloring agent, the recipe has remained the same since the beginning. The best-known cocktail using Campari is of course Negroni, but we already made two versions of it on this channel, so let's make a cocktail time edition of the Boulevardier. The classic recipe uses bourbon as the base spirit, but I infused mine with popcorn. I'll show you how in a minute. We'll of course use the standard combination of Campari and sweet vermouth, and instead of the typical orange zest garnish, we'll spray the cocktail with some Parmesan cheese perfume. I'll show you how to make that too, so don't search for it in the store. And to make it a real movie night delight, we'll add some homemade caramel covered popcorn. I have everything I need to make this cocktail, but first I'll show you how I got here. It's quite a process, but trust me, it's worth it. Like with any good movie night, we'll start with popcorn and go from there. And the best movie-style popcorn needs some butter. Add a tablespoon of butter to a pan, and once it's melted, cover with popcorn. This buttery popcorn will be used to infuse our bourbon and give the Boulevardier an amazing undertone. But we'll also use it for a dessert snack, and we'll get to that later. Once it's done, take a handful of popcorn and place it into a Tupperware container. Cover with 105 ml or 3.5 ounces of bourbon of your choice. Bourbon is of course a type of American whiskey distilled from a mash made primarily of corn. So this is like watching a romantic movie. They were destined to be together. Leave this to infuse for 24 hours. This might seem like a long time to make a cocktail, but the movie The Other Side of the Ring was in production stage for 48 years, from 1970 to 2018. Thanks to editing, our infusion was done by the time it took me to tell you this useless information you now know. Strain the bourbon through a cheesecloth and give it a gentle squeeze to get out as much as possible. Then place the strained infusion in the freezer. This will separate all of the fats that might still be in there from the buttered popcorn. The time depends on your freezer, but the fat should solidify in around an hour. The final step, for the bourbon at least, is to strain it again. The popcorn will give the bourbon a multi-dimensional character. Then bottle it and marvel at what you've made. This smells amazing. To make the next part, the cheese perfume, you need a sous vide cooker, and you can find a similar one to what I use to do the affiliate links below. To make the cheesy aroma on top of the cocktail, we'll start by pouring 50 ml or 1 2/3 ounce of bourbon into a sous vide bag. Then comes the cheesy part. We'll add 20 grams of grated Parmesan cheese. Since pre-grated cheese contains preservatives, like potato starch, meant to keep the shreds from clumping together in the bag, it's always better to get a block of cheese and to grate it yourself. After carefully sealing the bag, place it in the water bath and set the cooker to 60 degrees Celsius or 150 Fahrenheit for 2 hours. After it's done, it gets the same freezer treatment as the popcorn-infused bourbon. That way, we'll be able to separate the fatty cheese particles and get a bourbon with a strong cheesy aroma. We'll spray this on top of our cocktail. After straining, pour it into a small spray bottle. And have a smell. I wanted to do a cheesy joke at this point, but the director wouldn't give me Parmesan to do it. Permission. My bad. Let's get on to the last part. The caramel-coated popcorn. We'll coat some of the leftover popcorn we made to infuse bourbon. First we'll make the caramel. Add 100 grams or half a cup of sugar and 40 grams of water to a pot. We'll cook this on medium-high heat until all the water cooks off. Once it starts to brown up, add 1 teaspoon of salt. Mix it in well before adding 1 tablespoon of butter. Again, mix in well to melt and incorporate before adding half a teaspoon of baking soda. This will make our caramel foamy, making it easier to coat the popcorn. It will also make the end result nice and crunchy. Continue stirring before taking off the heat and pouring over the popcorn. Quickly turn the popcorn with a spatula so they are all evenly coated. Caramel will harden pretty fast, so make sure you have your baking tray with parchment paper ready to dump out the popcorn. Spread them evenly, but be really careful, because hot caramel can burn you easily. While you want them layered, they should still be close enough to stick together. Leave it to cool for around 15 minutes, before breaking apart into your desired sizes. I'll do it so it fits on top of the glass. Everything else will be a perfect movie snack. Let's just keep going so I can make this cocktail and enjoy a nice movie. I first created this Boulevardier twist back in 2019 as a part of a 3-course cocktail menu at the bar I worked at. Like I mentioned before, if you want to make a classic Boulevardier, follow this recipe, but use your favorite bourbon or even rye whiskey, and garnish with an orange peel. But this is cocktail time, so let's add the popcorn-infused bourbon. Unlike Negroni, a modern Boulevardier recipe doesn't have equal parts of the 3 ingredients. We'll add just a bit more of the whiskey, so it will stand up to the sweet and bitter components. The Boulevardier cocktail was made famous during Prohibition by Harry McLachlan, owner of Harry's New York bar in Paris. It's featured in his 1927 book Barflies and Cocktails on page 80. There you'll find cocktails dedicated to the man about town, influential patrons and residents of Paris. The Boulevardier is credited to the American writer and socialite Erskine Gwynne, who left the US for Paris. There he became the editor of a monthly publication called What Else? The Boulevardier. You can serve the Boulevardier on the rocks, but I'm serving this one up. Serving like this will make the cheesy perfume more perceptible to our nose. Add a piece of popcorn and you're ready for the movie to start. This time, don't start with the popcorn before the main attraction, like we all do in the cinema. This popcorn is sweet, so start with the cocktail. Cheers! You get a savory smell of Parmesan on the nose, but the first sip lets you know you're drinking a Boulevardier. And a damn good one too. the wonderful Italian combination of the bitter and herbal notes from the Campari and Antica formula plays on your palate, while the bourbon works as a great base. The buttery popcorn lingers on your tongue throughout this process. As your senses combine the cheesy aroma and the popcorn-fueled bittersweet taste, you'll be ready for the best movie night ever. And if you decide to take a bite with the caramel-covered popcorn, be ready for a flavor bomb, which will change the next sip of the cocktail. But that's just like a good storyline. This too is evolving, and you'll probably want a sequel by the time you're done with it. While I'll go and watch my favorite movie, you can be the nicest critic in history and write me a review down in the comments. And don't forget to hit that like button. That's how Hollywood will notice this channel. Before we finish this episode, I just want to say that we were blown away by all the cool comments you gave us on the last episode. I see that the Cocktail Time community is super creative and there's a lot of Vanilla Ice fans. Also, I have to give a shout out to my friend Vino Valentino from 60 Second Cocktails, that he made an effort and write down the comments in Slovene. That was awesome, man. Cheers everybody, and stay icy. 1, 2, 3, kokica. I have every... Kokica. Start the premiere. It's cocktail time. I wanted to do a cheese joke at this point, but the director wouldn't give me Parmesan to do it. Kaj? A to se mora čuti? Ja, to mi prepovejo, jaz mislim, da se kaj zajeba. This is the end of the video. If you want to see more cocktail recipes and more bloopers, check this out. And think about subscribing. Thanks for watching.